Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. So I want to do a follow-up to the video that I posted yesterday, where I was talking about the planned global food crisis. Okay. Now, if you don't think that the politicians are doing this on purpose, I don't know what to tell you at this point. These stories that come out, the information that we get is ridiculous, okay? And it only tells us one thing, that the rich and powerful are trying to corner the food market. And I'll give you this. All right, we all know the stories on nitrogen and natural gas. Okay, natural gas is one of the main ingredients, if you will, where you get the urea for nitrogen, and a majority of it comes from Russia. Biggest nitrogen buyers in the world, of buyers of Russian nitrogen: Brazil, a lot of food grown there. China, a lot of food grown there. People, United States, a lot of food grown there. Okay. Those are your three biggest buyers of nitrogen. This is where it starts getting even scarier. Potash, okay, the K in your NPK, your potassium. Russia and Belarus are the biggest producers in the world of potash. Potash is crucial for the growth of your plants, okay? That's what gives you your strong roots. That's what gives you your root crops, your potatoes, your beets, your onions, whatever it is. That's what gives you the big tubers and big bulbs and everything, all right? Now, who are the biggest buyers of potash in the world? Brazil and the United States. These are the two places that get the most of it, okay? By country, all right? The EU is a huge buyer as well, but it's all combined. If you take each little country out, it's a little different. Remember, most of your countries in Europe aren't any bigger than a state, all right? So it's like the Czech Republic's about the size of Indiana, to give you just an idea, all right, of the size of the country. Well, the EU, in its infinite wisdom, mind you, who a lot of the people on the WEF are where they're from, okay? Where Klaus is from, Europe. The EU is expected to cap the Russian imports of potash. They are also supposed to cap the imports of potash from Belarus. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Belarus is an ally of Russia, yes. Belarus has not sent troops into Ukraine or anything of the sort, as far as we know. Maybe they have, maybe they have not, but that has not been reported anywhere. It's all been Russian troops. Well, now the EU wants to start sanctioning Belarus for their support of Russia. Okay, guilt by association, that could be a problem. So there's a couple of issues here. First off, when you have limiting the amount of potash that comes in, that just is going to make the European farmers, that make it that much harder for them to grow food. Oh, I don't know. Could we have a planned starvation going on? The U.S. buys a ton of it from Russia. Oh, gee, let's limit our crops. Okay. Yeah, we do have domestic potash producers, but we still buy a ton from Russia. So this is another whammy to farmers, which inevitably will be a double whammy when it comes to the availability and the cost of food. Okay, so there's the first issue there. The second issue, which I think is more concerning, is the guilt by association. If the EU, inevitably with the US's blessing, okay, because it doesn't seem like the EU can have any independent thought without clearing it with Washington first. If they're going to start sanctioning Belarus because of their friendship, if you will, with Russia, What's next? Does that mean we sanction China? Does that mean we sanction India? Does that mean we sanction Pakistan? Oh, well, let's see. What do we get from those countries? China, basically all our manufacturing. Let's stop that. India, basically that would be the majority of our medicines. How many companies have Indian offices? Let's just put it that way. Your tech support, your paperwork processing, whatever. All of a sudden, let's stop that. Everybody could say, well, that'll bring the jobs back to the U.S. Yes, but it doesn't happen like that. So all of a sudden, I don't know, there is no support. Okay. Let's look at all the countries in Central America in South America that support Russia. Okay. Now you start talking about all those fruits, vegetables, coffee, everything that comes from South America. That's all gone. Do you see what I'm saying here? This is a slippery slope with all these sanctions going on. Sanctions do not work. We've already seen it, okay? Pick one. The Iranian economy changed. They've been sanctioned for years, okay? It's not like Iran disappeared as a country, okay? The ruble spiked back down to normal, okay? So that's it. And when everybody says, oh, yeah, but prices are up in Russia and everything like that. Well, yeah, big deal. Prices are up in the United States, Germany, England, Australia, whatever. They're up around the world. The sanctions have nothing to do with that. This is where the problem comes, guys. We are in a situation where we have no business in the first place, okay? Like I've said many times, Ukraine is not an ally. They aren't a NATO member. They aren't an EU member, anything like that. They're a former Soviet republic, okay? This is a spat between brothers and sisters, all right? If the neighbor's kids get into a fight, I got no business going over there to break it up. That's not my responsibility, okay? That's Dad's responsibility, would be over there. Now, why are we there? Oh, gee, are we supposed to be the world's police force? Great. Again, what do we see? All the people running away, and let's bring in NATO troops. Sure, let's let a bunch of Germans, Brits, Norwegians, Americans, Canadians, let's let them die for the cause for Ukraine, and then the Ukrainians can all move back. Not that there haven't been a whole bunch of Ukrainians killed, don't get me wrong on that. But when I see all these stories about Ukrainian men dressing as women trying to get across the border because they don't want to fight for their own country, why the hell should we? Okay. This is the problem. This is getting idiotic, guys. This is the problem with globalization. You become so dependent on another country who doesn't align with you economically, politically, socially, whatever it is. And when they do something you don't like, you say, oh, gee, we're going to stop buying your stuff. Who's this hurt? Russia goes, okay, we'll find a new market for it. No big deal. We'll sell more to China. That's fine. The sanctions actually hurt those of us in the West. And it's going to hurt us in the wallet. Washington could care less. All right, I've said this many times. Joe's not worried about where his next cup of pudding is coming from, and Kamala's not worried where her next steak and lobster is coming from. But you and me are probably worried about where that next chicken thigh and mashed potatoes is coming from, because they get more and more and more expensive. When they start putting farmers out of business, this is where it's going, guys. Let's raise the prices so much that the only people that can afford to do something are Bill Gates owning farmland, okay? They're the only ones that can afford to buy the fertilizer, buy the seeds, whatever it would be. Look how expensive seeds have gotten, okay? When water starts getting more expensive, when they start diverting jet streams to change water paths, Haven't seen any of that, have we? Interesting. I'm supposed to get snow in Tennessee around tax time. Okay, the weather patterns. This is what's going on, guys. This is what you are preparing for. Okay. Somebody asked yesterday about a couple of times what I use comfrey for when we were on the live stream last night. You have to figure out ways to alternatively grow, raise whatever your food. Okay. If it's gardens and you can't get 10, 10, 10, triple 13, whatever would be, you have to come up with other ways to get the fertilizers that you need for your plants to grow so you have food. If you raise animals, you have to come up with other ways to get the straw to grow, the grass to grow, the vegetables if you're feeding chickens, whatever it would be. You need to have some way to feed those animals. Okay? Food is everything. We all talk about stocking food, and I've said to you guys, how people ask how much, and I say a year, but that's not the be all end all. What happens on day 366? You've got to have a way to replenish it. This is how stupid it's getting. We're stopping the lifeblood of the world. The restrictions, the sanctions we're putting on the enemy are hurting us worse than they're hurting them. Gasoline is up, fertilizer is up or non-existent, which in turn makes food either up or non-existent. Who's hurting? Gee, Putin's not making another $1 billion. I mean, there's no official number to how much money he has, but many, many, many people have said he's the richest man in the world. I don't think he's too worried about it. And he obviously has already proven that he could give a rat's ass about the population of Russia. Okay? So we're not hurting him. We're hurting Joe Average in Russia. We're hurting Joe Average in Europe. And we're hurting Joe Average in the United States, let alone Australia, South America, wherever else. Okay? This is what's going on. This is how crazy it's getting and what you need to do to prep for yourself. Okay? Guys, compost. Again, here's another silly one. People are saying, well, what about Africa? Everything like that. Africa's starving. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Composting works just as well in Africa as it works in the United States, as it works in Europe, whatever it would be. Okay? There's stuff to compost. You want to improve your soil in Africa? It's not hard. They just don't do it. Oh, gee, I have sand. I can't grow anything in it. And as long as people keep going, here's free food, here's free food, here's free food, they don't do anything to improve their own conditions. If they stopped getting free food, they would start improving their own conditions. This is what's going to happen in the United States, and Europe and wherever. When people stop having the availability of food, free or otherwise, okay, they're going to have to improve their conditions. Guys, think ahead. All this is going on. Improve your conditions. Make those things that you need now, okay? Grow comfrey. Make a compost pile. Save your wood ash. Save your coffee grounds. Save your eggshells. As silly as it is, save your urine. As silly as that is, that stuff has value. Because you look at an eggshell now or your coffee grounds and they go straight in the trash. 6 months from now, you could be looking at those going, oh my God, thank God I have these, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be eating. Pinball out.